question, or I had a dream, so Michael wanted me to ask you about it. So we got a whole audience to find out what it is.
You had the dream?
Yes. Um, it was on this huge lake. It almost seemed like an ocean. And there was a guy had a boat, little aluminum boat, and it was getting dark really quick. And before you know it, when I said dark really quick, it just got dark like it was midnight. And he took off to the other side of the shore. You could see a little light on the other side. And so he took off in his boat, and Michael and me was in a swing, or a porch swing. And it was it was white, but the paint was crinkly on it. I remember that. And the swing just started moving like this across the water, just like it was like this, but it was in the water, but we wasn't getting that wet. And it was just a steady moving, just like it had a motor on it. At the same pace the other guy was going in the motorboat, which like a 5 horsepower, they kind of get a wake like that, just kind of go wouldn't like that. And Michael looked at it, and back in the dream, he was only like 4 or 5 years old, or younger. And I never remember Michael with longer hair, but he had longer hair like Jeremiah did. Lisa wanted to make Jeremiah into a girl, so she let his hair grow down real long. But Michael, for some reason, had longer hair like that in his dream. And he kept looking up to me and says, "Dad, are we going to make it? Are we going to make it?" And I was saying, "Sure, son," but to me, I was thinking, "Lord, only you know," because we're in a swing. I mean, there's no way a swing could even possibly float. But yet we're moving at a steady pace going to the other side.
And it's in the darkness still.
Yeah, still in the darkness. And he would look up at me again. He said, "Dad, are we going to make it?" And I'd pat him. I said, "Yes." And at the same time I'm telling him, I said, "Lord, you only know." I mean, because I ain't sure how this thing's even moving the way it's moving. And well, this guy winds up going over to the other side, but he misses it's kind of going still into darkness, the guy is, into this little slough, and all of a sudden we hit the other side on the other corner of but it was like sand, because immediately just the whole sky lit up, or that whole area lit up, enough that I could see that it was just sand, and we just stepped off the swing, and I said, "Michael, I told you we would make it." And suddenly he wasn't there. And he jumped in and started swimming to the other side, swimming to where the other boat was. In other words, he was a grown person then.
Yeah.
But we'd made it to that place, and it was just a bright, shiny place,
Yeah.
So
and he made it over there, but he was swimming, or he was still in the water?
No, he was swimming. He started swimming over to the other place.
Because when you have a dream like that, especially with a family member, the age represents probably the key to the dream.
Mm-hmm.
There was something at that age for Michael. And now, is Michael, which one is he, the oldest?
He's the oldest. He's nearly 50 now, isn't he?
And what does Michael do for a living? Here's the question I'm really after. Is he entrepreneurial like
yes.
you?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what I see in the dream as something there, even at that age, he saw that you didn't do things like other people did them. It was unique in how you did it. That's the swing thing. Mm-hmm. It's not a boat. It's not typical. It's not the expected. And even at that age, though, there was a concern in him, but are we going to be all right? I mean, and those are the kind of things that before a child's 7 years old, I mean, you've probably established 10 of your major pivots in life as far as your trauma points. This is when this hit me. They say, like parents who have divorced, a child up to 7 years old, no matter why the parents got divorced, the 7 years and younger will feel they're the cause of it. It's just things that happen during those first 7 years that establish you for life in a lot of ways until you overcome. But there was something in those years where his values, his logic, his analyzation. Something then made him fear. I mean, I grew up with an entrepreneurial dad. You know, had several businesses. I never understood what a budget was. I never understood what would come in on a regular basis. I mean, that was just foreign to me. And I didn't know it was a stress, but being the oldest child, it was a stress to me because I never knew. And I definitely was very frugal, no matter, I never went without or felt poor, but I never felt free either because I didn't know in my analytic mind, that's my personality, is to analyze. And if Michael's is that way in his analytic mind, you know, it's like, I'm built the same way, but I don't know if I can do this. But when even though you made it into there, he still did it his own way. That's how he's like you, but it scares him. Now, the fact, there's something about it that shakes him and unnerves him even still, I'm thinking, for you to have that dream. And the fact that you did it one way, he's doing it another. I would take the dream for you as a father to affirm him, Michael, you can do exactly what you were born to do, whether it's like the way I did it or whether it's the way anybody else did it. You've got to follow the parameters that you're at peace with. That's how God made you. And to me, to have the dream is your notice to affirm him because he's at a midlife point of questioning things that are probably, they would sabotage him if he doesn't come to a peace about it. And he evidently is going to have some decisions to make or is in the middle of some choices that if he did it from a standpoint of do what the peace of God puts the blessing on, do what you feel the peace of God on, somehow affirm him in that. He may not be aware of he's at a choice point, but that dream tells me he is. And some choices that this determines the years ahead. So yeah, you need to at least recognize where God's blessing is.
Okay.
And it can be as unique as God tells you to do it. Because he's swimming